What's up everyone, and welcome to a brand new What If video. Today I'll be covering a what if that a lot of you have been suggesting for a while, and one in which I feel could be pretty subversive and interesting. I waited kind of a long time to do this one because there was an overabundance of Broly what ifs. But I haven't done really too many what ifs involving Broly on my channel, so I decided, why not? I might as well do this one because a lot of you wanted it and I kinda wanted to cover it as well. This scenario will probably not go the way you think. No, I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean it in a very good way. When looking through this, I found a way to make it a lot more interesting and not as predictable as you would expect from a scenario like this. Today we're going to be looking at what would happen if Broly landed on Namek instead of Vampa, arriving on the Namekian planet after being sent away from planet Vegeta. Let's also set a like goal for this video. If you want to see more parts to this and you like the scenario, be sure to drop a like and let's see if we can hit 3,000 likes. Once we hit that, I'll know there's demand for another part and I'll continue this what if. Without further ado, let's get into the scenario and see what might have happened if Broly landed on Namek instead of Vampa. Here we go. We begin around the time that Broly is sent off planet Vegeta. While Vampa does seem like a viable option to send this child away to, there also is Namek. It seems pretty remote, and apparently long ago, a storm destroyed most of the population, so it's pretty deserted, and who knows, another one of these giant storms might come out and wipe out this Saiyan child. King Vegeta of course doesn't want to deal with him, so this is fine, and he decides to send Broly to planet Namek. The pod gets launched and flies away far off to the green planet. Paragus does end up finding out about this and he's pretty angered. Naturally, he's going to pursue Broly, so he decides to steal a ship and follow where the pod went to. Days pass, and eventually on Namek, something disturbs the peace. Something falls from outer space. Was that some sort of meteor? No, it was actually a spaceship. A couple of farmer Namekians go over to it, and they see what's inside. It appears to be a child, a humanoid with a tail. They're obviously pretty confused, so they decide to take it to the one person who might have the wisdom to deduce who this actually is, the Grand Elder Guru. The Namekians arrive at Guru's place with the new child, with his space pod as well. Guru is very intrigued by this. It appears that this child is a Saiyan, a race in which he knows about from the Namekian Book of Legends. Shockingly enough, this child seems pretty rowdy, as well as being pretty strong and somewhat out of control. This is pretty worrisome. What should they do with this child? But suddenly they're interrupted. Another ship ends up landing on Namek, this time with two adults who appear to also be Saiyans. Far away the ship lands, and it's greeted by a couple of Namekian warriors who are on alert. Paragus is pretty irrational right now. He's seeking out high power levels in order to look for Broly, but is surprised to see on a scatter that there's actually a few more here. It seems the Namekians are still alive and they're very strong. No matter though, he'll defeat them. Beat stays back in the ship, kinda terrified, especially with how crazy Paragus is acting right now. Irrational and inconsolable, Paragus confronts the Namekian warriors. There's a mutual sense of hostility, and Paragus isn't gonna have it. He draws his gun on them, feeling like he's the one in power, but that sets the Namekians off. They power up and reveal that they're much stronger than Paragus, and then Paragus starts attacking them. The Namekians even notice that he's heading in the direction of Guru's place, so of course they're gonna want to stop him. In order to protect the planet and their Grand Elder, and not knowing who this guy is, they decide to kill Paragus. It's kinda tragic really. He was just here chasing Broly. With Paragus' heightened anxiety and stress, as well as his seemingly hostile demeanor, this created a grave misunderstanding between him and the Namekian warriors, resulting in his death. Beats of course wants none of this and he just flies away back to planet Vegeta, not wanting to speak a word of any of this. The Namekians don't even bother shooting down the ship. The message has been sent. In order to make sure Guru is okay, they head over, and Guru of course sensed what just happened, and he's pretty worried. These warriors were far away from Guru and didn't know that a child landed earlier on Namek, and seemingly these Saiyans were here to retrieve him. This was a pretty bad misunderstanding, but it doesn't matter now. That Saiyan was hostile anyways, and the Namekians did what was right by protecting the planet. They didn't know about the Saiyan child until after the fact, so it's not their fault. They just thought this guy was an intruder and there's no need to blame them because Paragus kinda made it seem that way. But what will they do about the child now? That might have been his father, and now he's alone. They of course weren't going to kill him and they probably can't send him back because they don't know how to. And the thing is, this child shows a lot of promise. Guru senses in his heart that while he is pretty rowdy, he has a lot of untapped power, and potentially could be good-hearted. While Saiyans are cruel creatures, this is a child, and nurture might win over nature if they were to raise him. They could use more strong fighters anyways, so Guru decides they'll take this child in as their own. Guru's bodyguard, Nail, steps up and decides that he'll take care of this child. With Nail being one of the strongest Namekian warriors here, he can not only raise this child to be a good person, but a powerful line of defense for Namek. He'll act as sort of a teacher and a father figure. And I guess Guru will kind of be the grandpa here. With no objections, Nail takes the child in, with Guru making sure to keep tabs on him. The thing is, they don't know this child's name either. they don't know his name is Broly. I don't know if that's something Guru would be able to sense, since Broly might not even know it himself. So if you guys want, you could suggest some names for him below in the comments. But now, I'm just going to stick with calling him the Saiyan. I think of it kind of in the same way as the Mandalorian. An orphan child from one group being taken in by another group, being raised as a warrior and not going by his real name, but instead by the name of his culture. Broly, referred to as the Saiyan by all the Namekians, is raised as a Namekian rather than a Saiyan. He is educated, nurtured, and trained like a Namekian. As we saw with Goku, this could actually change how a Saiyan grows up. The thing is, Goku hit his head, which completely changed him as a person, while Broly is just a regular Saiyan being raised as a Namekian. Not only does he grow up under a better influence, but he grows up healthier and smarter, and sees a lot of great development as a person. This Broly would be a completely different character from the Broly we know. Physically, he would look pretty much the same. Maybe his scars wouldn't be there, but I do know for sure that he probably would have a change of clothes. And right here is what I would imagine Broly would look like if he were raised on Namek. Overall, pretty much the same, except he's wearing the clothes of a Namekian warrior, kind of similar to Nail's. While his armor would probably become destroyed over time, he still could have his wristbands. So over time, how much has he really changed? With Nail's experience and power, I'm sure he'd be able to teach Broly some useful things. Keeping his anger under control would be one of the most important parts. Overall, Nail would be able to shape him into a strong and stoic warrior. One who is much smarter and much more under control than the Broly that we know. So what about his tail? As far as we know, Namek has no moon, so I don't think they'd even ever see Broly turn into a great ape. However, I'm sure with their knowledge of Saiyans, they'll be able to find out that Saiyan tails actually turn them into these monsters. And I'm sure they wouldn't really want to risk it. His tail doesn't really serve any purpose right now, and it's really just a weak spot, so it would be good to remove it. Plus, they want to be safe rather than sorry, even if the chances of him turning into a great ape are pretty much zero. Not that it matters too much though, and you'll see why later. Guru and Nail are pretty impressed with this child's growth. This Saiyan was once a rowdy, unintelligent child, with an explosive personality. Now, he's much more mellowed and can control himself. But he has great powers in reserve, and Guru decides to give him a little gift. Broly is summoned to Guru's palace one day, where Guru wants to show him something that'll make him a more effective warrior. Guru places his hand on the Saiyan's head, sensing the immense amount of potential within him. Guru has known this for a while, but now that the Saiyan is able to control himself, and is a coherent warrior, Guru thinks this is the right time. Guru begins drawing out his potential. Nail is amazed at how incredible the increase in power is, as is Broly. Nail is left pretty much speechless, also feeling a bit of pride. He raised this warrior well, and now with his potential drawn out, he's stronger than even Nail was. Guru knows that there's more within him, and he encourages Broly to explore that. The Saiyan gives a nod of approval and gives his thanks to Guru. This boost in power will really come in handy. And Namek has a very reliable line of defense now. Although they are a peaceful planet, it is good to ensure this, which is why they have Nail as a bodyguard for Guru, and now Broly who kinda acts as one as well. The Saiyan feels at home. Of course he knows he isn't a Namekian. Physically it's not hard to tell, I mean the lack of green skin is pretty much a dead giveaway. But even knowing this, he views the Namekians pretty much as family. The Namekians all are related. They're brothers, and Broly feels just like that. While he is a bit curious about his history, he's content where he is now, and feels great pride and love for his home planet, Namek. It's a good thing that they have this extra line of firepower though, because now, Namek is about to face a threat. By this time in the story, we're in age 762. The events that have transpired on Namek so far pretty much won't affect anything else in the universe, so everything goes pretty much like normally. There were other Saiyans off planet besides Broly. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz on one planet, a Saiyan named Kakarot that is now named Goku sent to another planet, and also Vegeta's estranged brother Tarble, who's not really relevant here, but worth mentioning. The events for everyone else goes pretty much the same. Dragon Ball happens like normal, the Saiyan Saga happens, Vegeta returns to Frieza Planet 79, and now, Frieza is aware of the Dragon Balls on Namek. So naturally, he's gonna head there and try to get them for himself. It's a peaceful day on Namek, much like normal. This average day is going normal so far. However, terror arrives. The Frieza Force lands on Namek, and they make their presence known. They're searching for the Dragon Balls, and they'll get them by any means necessary. Broly and Nail of course sense this threat. Nail is sworn to guard Guru, and Broly's pretty much in the same position now. Maybe the other warriors will be sufficient enough to handle this threat, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna go that way. Guru is saddened. Broly and Nail are angered. They sense many Namekian keys being extinguished, and know that their brethren are dying. And that's when Nail notices something that he hasn't seen for a while. Broly's anger begins to flare up a little bit again. He's keeping it under wraps, but he is visibly upset, and Nail notices a slight increase in power. He wants to make sure Broly doesn't lose control. The Saiyan wants to go out and fight, protecting his brothers. Nail can tell how powerful this threat is, but he knows he won't be able to stop Broly. Broly is set on going out and fighting. Nail would prefer he stays here and defends Guru with him, and he tries to convince Broly otherwise, but he won't budge. Nail concedes, and he tells Broly good luck, wanting him to promise that he'll stay safe. The Saiyan gives his promise, and then departs from Guru's palace. On another part of the planet, a ship completely different from Frieza's ships begins to land. This ship is from far away in space, on a planet known as Earth. 3 people are aboard it: Bulma, Krillin, and Gohan. Their arrival on Namek was pretty much normal, and their ship ends up getting destroyed. Gohan and Krillin are able to fend off against the Frieza Force soldiers though, but of course they're pretty nervous now. Not only is this army on planet Namek, but it appears another ship has landed as well, containing none other but Vegeta. This seems like a massive mess. Their ship is destroyed, and there's all these hostiles here on the planet. So what will they do now? They have no choice but to hide and keep their keys lowered. But their encounters aren't over yet. As Broly's flying, he senses a temporary massive increase in ki nearby. Thinking that this might be a threat, he's curious and decides to check it out. He should be able to handle it alone. He heard movement in a nearby cave, and he calls out. He assumes a battle stance and tells him that he knows that someone's in there. But the people he sensed don't budge. Broly eases towards the cave, ready to fight. He goes around the corner and then he sees what's in the cave. 3 people. Are they hostile? Are they friends? He doesn't know, but he's ready to fight. Gohan and Krillin prepare to fight as well, thinking that this might be a Frieza Force soldier. It's odd though, he's wearing very different clothes. But then Broly snaps to his senses, realizing that one of these is a kid, and one of the people in the group is a scared woman who isn't doing anything. He calms down. These don't seem like bad guys, and hopefully his judgment's right. Gohan then picks up on something. Krillin sees this too and he's terrified. This guy must be a Saiyan. They ask him that, and he confirms. But something's off. Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz had very different clothes on. This Saiyan is wearing completely different clothes. This guy must not be with them. They begin exchanging questions, and everyone figures out what's going on. These 3 are from Earth and have nothing to do with Frieza's army. And this new Saiyan that they just met, he's not with Frieza's army either. He asks for their names, Krillin, Gohan, and Bulma, and they ask for his. But suddenly they're interrupted when they sense something going on nearby. It appears that one of the villages is being attacked, and Broly immediately leaves to go see what's going on. Gohan and Krillin follow him as well, while Bulma stays back in the cave. They still don't know exactly who this guy is, but it seems like he works for the Namekians somehow. He's definitely not with Vegeta, Frieza, or any of those people. So how exactly did he get here and why? They get to the village and then they find that some guy is attacking the Namekians. It's Dodoria. Broly doesn't hesitate. He immediately confronts Dodoria, and Dodoria starts a fight. This guy's a weakling. His power doesn't even show up on the scouter. One of the Namekians suddenly destroys all the scouters on Frieza's soldiers. And then distracted by this, Dodoria suddenly gets attacked by Broly. With one punch, he's defeated, and a single blast defeats all the other soldiers. Krillin and Gohan are amazed, and the Namekians thank Broly. Of course they could rely on him. Gohan and Krillin jump out and confront Broly again. They want to team up with him, and they're actually curious as to why he's here. He'll explain that in due time. But first, they actually want to know his name, so they ask him. We're going to leave it off here now. So one of my biggest questions for you guys, what should his name be? Or is he nameless and just goes by the Saiyan? And what did you guys think about this part, and what do you think will happen next time? Be sure to leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check them out to see what you guys think. As usual, if you liked the video, be sure to drop a like. And let's try to hit our goal of 3,000 likes. And if you haven't already, why not subscribe, as well as hitting the bell icon to get notified about any future parts of this What If, or any other videos that I upload on my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.